guys, I want to show you how you can use and make a flipbook to help you take notes and review as you go through your science lessons. This is a great strategy to practice taking notes and to also have a little more fun while you prepare yourself for the test. Let me show you first what the final product will look like, and then we'll go step by step to make it. Your final product, you're going to have this handy dandy little book where you can flip up each tab and look at a category with a couple of questions to answer, some vocabulary words to fill in, but also a little extra space to take notes on each of those topics while you go through the lesson. So you're going to be learning about Earth's layers and features. And you have to be able to analyze different things about Earth's features in order to answer the questions on the test and really show that you understand what's happening in the unit. So now, let's take a quick look at how you're going to create this, how you're going to get it set up. All right, for today's lesson activity, you need to have two pieces of paper. Ideally, they're blank, like printer paper or something from a sketch pad. If they are not blank paper, if they're lined paper, that's okay. If you have like your art kit, you could, in your art kit, in that sketch pad, there's paper. I like using markers or like colored pencils or something to make it interesting, but you can also just use a pen or a pencil. All right. So the first step will require a little bit of following directions and folding. After that, we are going to label it. If you have a stapler, it is helpful to staple. If not, you can do like I'm doing and just fold. So, are you guys ready? You ready for this? Okay. You do not need tape, not really. So, we're going to start by taking our two pieces of paper. And we're going to take the top piece of paper, and you're going to kind of lift that top piece of paper up so that at the bottom, there's a couple of extra inches there between the top and the bottom. Okay? So you kind of lifted it up. Okay, so now we are going to fold down the top. Okay? We're going to fold down the top, but not all the way. We're just going to fold it down enough, just enough, so that you have 1, 2, 3, 4 flaps that you can see. So we're folding it down so that you're going to have these different 1, 2, 3, 4 flaps. So once you kind of have it stacked like that, then you can fold it here. We had two pieces of paper. We kind of slid one up a little bit so that they were stacked. We folded it over, but when we folded it over, we didn't fold it all the way down, just part of the way down. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 different sections on top. But what you have now is 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, at the top, you can either staple it to keep it together, or you can kind of just fold it a little bit, just like pinch it to fold it. And that's just going to kind of help your book stay together, okay? Now, you can also just make a book, right? You can just fold this and have different pages, okay? So if you're having a hard time making it as a flip book, just take your two pieces of paper and just fold them together and make a book. So on the front page of your book or on the top of your flip book, you're going to write the title. The title of our flip book is Earth's Layers and Features. So Earth's layers Whoopsies. And features. I guess that's the downside to using a marker. When I mess up, I just have to work with it. All right. Earths, layers, and features. So this can be on the front of your book or the top flap if you have a flip book. And then you can write your name over here on the side. All right. And this is all on our top flap or our front page. So write your name. And this is for Science Unit 4. Science Unit 4. Good job. So the next thing we're going to do is add our title for the next tab or the next page in your book. Okay, so on the next page or on the next tab, without lifting it up, we're going to put our title right down here. This next one is going to be Fossils and Rocks. So I'm just putting it in the corner because I'm going to use the rest of that for something else. Okay, that one's going to be called Fossils and Rocks. After that, we want to have a tab for Earth's features and patterns. Okay, so down in the corner here in just this next tab, right? Not on the last page. So if you're doing a book, it'll be your third page, but in your flip book, it's going to be the third tab. Earth's features and patterns. Earth's features and patterns. The last one is shorter than that. The last one is vocabulary. So on that last page or the last slide, the title there is vocabulary. Vocabulary. Okay. You've got your title, Fossils and Rocks, Earth's Features and Patterns, and Vocabulary. So when you learn about fossils and rocks, a couple of questions you can answer are, what do layers of rock help us learn about the Earth? Or how are igneous rocks formed? You might also want to think about how fossils are different from trace fossils and how trilobites are different or the same as fossils. So fossil and trilobite are both vocabulary words we will include on the vocabulary page. But as you learn about a fossil, you'll also learn about something called a trace fossil. So you might make some notes in here about that. Just like you notice, even though we don't have the vocabulary word igneous rocks on our vocabulary page, we do have sedimentary rock as one of our key vocabulary words. And you're going to think a little bit more to understand the process of how igneous rocks are formed. So on another tab about Earth's features and patterns, first of all, you might want to add a definition for patterns. I didn't have us add that in our notes, but if I'm going to add that here right now, I would say that a pattern, let's see, a pattern is something that repeats or has the same features. So a pattern is something that repeats or shares features. So I'll include that in our final product here later. A pattern is something that repeats or shares features. We got to understand that. And some of the key things that I told you to put, or that I'm going to tell you to put in here, uplifting. Again, this is not one I put under vocabulary because you need to understand how it happens. So uplifting happens when blankety blank. All right, blankety blank. You're also going to need to compare and contrast a ridge and a mountain. So things that are unique about a ridge, things that are unique about a mountain, and the things that are the same. Finally, there is something that is called geological tilt and fold. Geological tilt and fold. So you need to understand what in the world are geological tilt and fold. Then you have all this extra space to take more notes. You're going to learn about Earth's features you can see on a map. You might make notes about that. You might make notes about earthquake zones, volcanoes. Okay, so those are things that you can put here. So in the last tab for vocabulary, we already mentioned sedimentary rock, fossil, trilobite. You're also going to need to know what the equator is. So look for that in your lessons. You've got to understand what zones are. You're going to learn about earthquake zones, but what is a zone? And deposition, I think you learned about this in your last unit. But when we're talking about rocks and fossils, it's important to understand this word deposition. You can, of course, add other words to this slide that you feel are important, but these are the ones that I especially pulled out that will help you on the test. And on the back, you've got all this extra space. You could draw a picture of something from the unit. You could take extra notes. You could ask questions that come up as you go through the unit. So that's what this Flipbook is, and that's how you will use it in the unit. And you can always go back in the video and you can pause at each spot to see what are you going to put on the fossils and rocks slide. Pause here. What are you going to put on the Earth's features and patterns page? Pause here. And what will you put on the vocabulary page? Pause here. Enjoy. I hope that makes taking notes as you go through science a little more fun.